The markets had an incredible rebound today. And by the way, Nvda, oh my gosh, we need to take a look at it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. And did you know that I almost landed a role in a major motion picture? I was going to play a fisherman, but I forgot my line. All right, we're going to talk about the indices and a couple stocks and also give an update on Bitcoin. But like I said, Nvda, I was tracking the cup and handle play. I said, maybe we'll see it make the cup formation. It did. I said, maybe we'll see the handle. And then we did. And then I said, and if we do see the cup and handle and break out to the upper side of this thing, we should see a really nice boost off that price. And then guess what? We did. And we're going to go into the charts on that today. And I'm just super excited about all the information that's in here because I think that it's really good and really informative information. I will tell you later in this video where you can see my buys and sells, where to see my options course, about how you can do technical analysis like I do. And then also, I do want to talk a little bit about what we have coming up for the week and also a little bit of what we saw today. Just taking a quick look at the economic calendar that we have here. Consumer inflation expectations, rocking 3%, whereas last month we were at 3.4%. So that's good to see that number coming down. Consumer credit change, lots of high usage on revolving credit, about $20 billion, as a matter of fact, put onto credit cards for the month of November. So that was incredible to see that up so high. And so we'll see if that has repercussions going out through 2024. It is possible that we do see some of that. And I'll talk later about that when we get to the charts. So moving on from there, we have a Fed speech coming up tomorrow, 12 p.m. Got to be watching for that. And then moving on from there into Thursday, even though we have another Fed speech on Wednesday, Thursday we have CPI inflation coming up for us. So core inflation coming in, consensus at 0.3, which is what it was last month, and then 3.8%, which last month it was 4%. And I think that we're going to see really strong numbers here. 0.2 to 0.3, I think that we're in really, really good shape, especially 0.2. We come in 0.1, we're in great shape, golden shape. Come in 0 for these, which I don't expect it to come in that low. But if we did, I think that that could also be good for the markets and it could possibly encourage a sooner Fed cut. So I am bullish for this week for the inflation reports that are coming out. CPI on Thursday, and then on Friday we have the PPI numbers. And then it's not until actually the following Friday, January the 19th, that we actually get the consumer sentiment numbers. But I think that could also be a catalyst for us. Now, one other thing I want to mention for Friday the 12th is that we have big bank earnings that day. And so I think that the banks are going to report that it was a great quarter for them. And so I'm expecting that part of it. I think their outlook, I think they might try and talk us into something that's going to raise up those bond yields. So I'm sorry, raise up the bond amounts, how much the demand for bonds, lower the bond yields. So that is something that I think could really kind of set them up for a healthier transition into Q2. As the Fed closes up their lending program that they have for bailing out the banks from last March. That does expire with this upcoming March. So I think that that's something that we got to watch out for. And bank earnings, I think, are going to be a big catalyst for us. And those, like I said, those are on Friday the 12th. We got to be looking out for them. All right, so let's get over to the charts on this thing, and we'll start talking about some of the things that we saw, including Nvda, because holy cow, we've waited a couple of weeks for the payoff for that one, and today was that payoff. So into this SPY, as we're looking at, you can check out that big green candle that we have right here. And today up almost 1.5%. And after that sell-off that we had, which felt like forever, even though compared to that run felt like no time at all. We sell off for a little bit the first time that we actually had any bit of test of support for us, which for this one came in right about, let me see, where do we bounce? Right at about 467, which is about where I thought that we would bounce. That was one of the support levels that I had on there. I said it was critical support for us. And then we had just a great day in the markets today. And so that was nice to recover. And I said I am cautiously bullish on the markets. I think this week is going to be a very good week for us. I think that January itself could be pretty good, especially this week. I think this is going to be one of the really good weeks for us, including today. I think that we still have some more momentum beyond what we've seen so far. And for the SPY, speaking of momentum, the RSI up over 50, turning things back around, going over the Qs and looking at the momentum that we have on the daily chart. We were down below 50, and then today we were up over 2% for QQQ, which tracks the NASDAQ 100. And Nvda, I'm sure, had more than a little bit to do with that one, but we'll say that all of big tech had a nice little recovery today after a pretty good sell-off that they actually sort of led over the last week. So watching that move upward, excellent. Made a bread recipe play on this one. Technical analysis, by the way, if you know more about it, check out the link for the course down in the description. And like I said, I'll tell you about that more in the video. Made 28% intraday on that trade. I also took out a longer hedge for a pullback in the markets that I have open out until the middle of March, the monthly expiration for March. So I'm going to be watching for that. Let's move over into Nvda. Check that out. Even better. So this 6.43% up from the previous close for the day. $522.75. We finally have resistance solidly broken on good volume. A close well above that 500 line. I said that this was a $500 stock. It would take movement with the markets to get there, and we got it. There's the cup that you see here, the handle that I had talked about, and we started breaking out of it. And I said on this day, which was the 2nd of January, I said that sell, man, it's really starting to put pressure on the cup and handle. I don't know if we're going to see it. It started putting doubt in my mind. Let's go to the hourly chart just to take a look and see what that happens. And we rode right along the top of that channel that we had to break out for the handle. Kept it as support, broke out through the top of this other mini little bearish channel that we had here, and then just ripped up today on excellent volume, $500 solidly broken. So thank goodness, Nvda, for finally showing us the above 500 that I knew that you were capable of. And this is one, if you want to see my stock prediction and earnings projection, I have the one from last quarter on the Patreon right now. I'll be putting the updated one out in the month of January for February when their earnings come out. So be on the lookout for that. Speaking of having a stock price prediction and earnings projection at the Patreon, I have Tesla over there as well. That is current. That is ready to go for their earnings at the end of January. So be looking for that. This is the formation that you need to be paying attention to. We are looking at the weekly chart for Tesla, the RSI right smack dab at, well, 51. So just barely above. I don't consider that necessarily fully bullish for us. I would like to see a strong little turn coming off of that, and we just don't have it yet. And we just keep on narrowing on these prices, going all the way back. This is the weekly chart, remember, to November of 2021. And then we started the bottom part of this symmetric triangle pattern that we have here, the 3rd of January 2023. So all of last year. So we're over a calendar year into the bottom part of this formation, and we're narrowing down to a major breakout in either direction. Watch which part of the trend line we come out of on this. So when I talk about technical analysis, this is part of it. And like I said, you can get this information and more using the technical analysis course that you can find through Stockmo Academy. That link is down in the description. Click that link. If you use the code word TRADE, TRADE, all caps, you can receive a huge discount on that course price. I even have a little option series that I put out over there that Stockmo included. And trust me, it is really awesome. There's a Discord that goes along with it, and you won't be sorry that you took part in it. And it's a wonderful community, wonderful time, and also wonderful information that can really up your trading game. All right, so let's move back into talking about the technicals here on the chart. There we go. Perfect. So putting up some of the indicators that we have on here, you can see we're still dancing above this red line here, which is the 50 EMA, the 50 SMA, not far below that, all within this narrowing wedge pattern. Even the 200-day is just barely peeking out the bottom of this thing. So far, we're consolidating, but we're to such a critical degree. There's got to be a huge move coming for Tesla to the upside or the downside. You need to watch which way we break out of this. And let me go down to the daily chart on this so we get a little bit more detail. And you can see we are down in bearish territory. However, we had the 50 EMA as resistance. We caught the 50-day SMA as support. So we're still kind of trapped in between the two of them. And somebody commented over in the Discord today, they said the price just looks stuck at 240. Well, we closed today at 240.45 and just bounded in between the 250s, the 50-day EMA and SMA. And this, man, oh man, just watching for which direction we're going to get on Tesla. I think whichever direction ends up being, I think it's going to be huge for us. Super excited about this. So as excited as I was for Nvidia, I'm even more excited about what we're going to see from Tesla breaking in either direction. I am a long-term bull on Tesla, but if we break out of the bottom of this thing, I think it's going to be something that's going to be fairly ugly for us, and we could have a pretty big sell coming off of that. If we break out through the top of this thing, I think it's going to be on hugely bullish news, and either way, I think we can take advantage of the direction that we get from that. So I did tell you that I would tell you more about where to see my buys and sells. You can do that using the link down in the description for the Patreon. So go ahead and click on that. My Tesla stock price prediction for this quarter that we just ended, that they'll be reporting on at the end of January, plus the stock price prediction and earnings projections all the way up through 2030. Nvidia, I'll be updating that soon in the month of January. Along with those updates comes the updates for my options course as well. I'll be finally adding on those applications of options with the stocks in the stock markets. And so you want to be checking that out as well. And then the technical analysis course, if you want to find out about how to use technicals to up your trading game, and also about the bread recipe. If you've watched Stockmo's videos, if you haven't, especially his live streams, you should, because he shows you in real time during the live streams about how to profit off the market using the technicals. And he also talks about it in this course directly. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to collaborate with him on this. I also included a little series on this, and I'm also over in the Discord for this technical analysis course, as his very own Discord, and people are they're over there asking about it, talking about it, and also there's a lot of people who are also profiting from it, they can't rave enough about the success that they're having. Even though it's not guaranteed for everybody, it's going to be case by case, different skill levels, different trading styles. It's still something you should absolutely check out. Code TRADE, trade, for a huge discount, huge savings on that one. All right, let's get back into Bitcoin. Bitcoin, because Bitcoin today, as a matter of fact, as I talk right now, it is still over $47,000 per BTC. So when we look at this one, look at this break that we had. I had these technicals on here for a while. Besides this blue line right here, I'll actually take that one off for right now. Let me press the escape button. There we go. There we go. So this is what I had on here in white with these lines. And if I zoom out more, you can see how long I've been tracking this thing for and what we've had. And as we broke out the top of this, we went slightly bullish, but not much. You can see we're riding along this bottom trend line still, came down, tagged the top trend line. That's this little trend line right here, and then ended up ripping up today. And that's on news of updates to the ETF applications that we have for the Bitcoin spot ETF. And there's a lot of hype going on that this could be finally be the time that we get that approval. And should we get it, I think we easily catalyze up over $50,000 per BTC. If it gets shut down, I think we're dropping through the floor on this one, that we either go back down and retest 38 or possibly even lower. Because of that, I have a straddle position out on Mara, which is at $26 strike. And I'll tell you what, where are we at right now? $26 strike, which the way that straddle loses money is if we don't get enough movement. And that is a short-term option. And so I'm hoping to only hold on to it for 2 more days, possibly by Friday at the very latest before I cut that thing loose. But I do think that this can still work out very wildly, profitably for me. Not as well as going a single direction, but I think it's still going to go really well on this one. So let me wrap this thing up for you. So the markets for this week, I am bullish on the markets for this week. I said it last week. I'm reiterating it this week. Today was testament to that. And if you guys want to talk to me throughout the trading day, see my buys and sells, join my Patreon. The link's down in the description. If you want to learn about technical analysis, the technical analysis course through Stockmo Academy, that link is also down in the description. Code word TRADE, trade. Go ahead and check it out. I think that you guys will really love what you find over there. As always, thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.